It's been a rainy and gloomy day throughout the Garden State here in New Jersey, but the rain's held up, and it's time for some high school football on the Play-by-Play Sports Network. Tonight, we're proud to bring you the Lenape Indians and the Seneca Golden Eagles. Thanks for tuning in on our YouTube live stream. I'm Ethan Carpenter alongside Owen Hartman. Owen, last week we got to see Lenape play at home. They got a 38-7 win over Eastern. And really, all facets of the team played well. Offense, defense, and of course, special teams.
Everybody played well, but of course, Ethan, there's always things you can fix, and I'm sure that the coaching staff worked on that this week for Lenape. Thankful that they could actually practice for another full week.
Yes, of course, and also before that game, remember the COVID-19 scare they had to push back the start of their season. Got to be good to get into a rhythm, so Lenape starts the season 1-0. On the other side, the Seneca Golden Eagles 0-2. And to Owen, they had a hard-fought game in Week 1, lost 14-7, and then in Week 2, a 31-0 defeat. They're going to want to turn things around here tonight in front of their home crowd. Looks like very light rain outside, and it's time to get this thing going. That's Vince Abate kicking off for Seneca. And we are off and running from Tabernacle as that ball rolls out of bounds at about the 26-yard line.
Smart move by Seneca. Might not be great field position for their defense to start with, but talked about it last week. You don't want to kick to the returners of Lenape.
There's a flag thrown on the play. And it looks like possibly an illegal formation on Seneca. And that'll bump Lenape up as they get started on offense here tonight. Slow start last week, only 7 points in the first quarter, but they really got things going. And Brady Long would love to put together another nice performance tonight on the road. Long on first down, fires over the middle, and it's nearly intercepted. Reid was the intended receiver. Seneca was right there to break up the first down pass.
Got to watch out for that slick ball tonight. I'm watching snaps and all throws for both offenses. It's going to be a real hard night to get the ball through the air.
And we'll take another look at that one. Good play. Lou Albano, the junior, was in there to break the pass up.
Quick start for Lenape. Just getting the ball out quick. Looking to establish a rhythm here.
2nd and 10 from the 35-yard line. Long will hand it up off the right side, and breaking a tackle is Bruce, and Bruce is off and running. Green grass in front of him. Hamza Bruce on the second play from scrimmage gets a Lenape touchdown.
That's a great run by Hamza Bruce. Great job by the offensive line, starting off this week strong. Not a great start last week. Wiped their minds, came ready to play today, and boy, did it pay off early.
Gotta love to get the running game going here in inclement weather. And just the start that Lenape wants on the road.
It's Bruce's first touchdown of the year. I'm sure we won't say that's his last either.
So this is Shank in for the extra point. Last week hit a 40-yard field goal. Great leg on this kid.
A little movement pre-snap.
And Seneca jumps and draws a flag. It looks like Coach Woj will keep the special teams unit on the field. No going for 2 despite the penalty. And Shank's extra point is good. So a 7-0 start. And Owen, I wanted to talk to you about this. Being a former center for Lenape yourself, you're very in tune with the offensive line play. This young offensive line for Lenape is going to have its hands full tonight with that Seneca defensive front. But if that run by Bruce there has any say about it, they're playing well here to start.
Well, if you look there in the beginning, that's a great double team there on the left side. Ben Hamilton doing a really good job moving the defensive end in front of him. But I really liked when I first saw them come out into the field, hustled. They looked engaged. They came out of the huddle ready to play football. Last week, there might have been some first game jitters. I'm not seeing any of that this week. And I also love seeing him celebrate in the end zone like that. Big boys, do your job, run down, go hug your guy.
Got to give them the glory, right? That's how it goes. You mentioned last week Jamal Simon was one of the best performers on the offensive line last week and did a good job there to help Lenape pave the way for that touchdown.
Of course, and there were 5 guys on the offensive line, and one good performance might be shadowed by some others that didn't have that great of a week, but Jamal Simon has experience playing offensive line, and that showed last week. Maybe not the first game jitters that everybody else had. See what Shank has to offer with our touchback extravaganza this week.
He had a little touchback streak going last week, I believe 4 or 5 in a row. It's rare you see one in high school football. And Shank's kick high, and it'll be short of the end zone, and it's fielded at about the 10-yard line and fumbled. And a nice tackle on the outside. Fielding it was Jake Handy, the captain for Seneca. But not much room there, and that's where the Golden Eagles will start their first drive of the night.
If I'm Seneca here, I want to start a rhythm early, keep the ball away from Lenape's high-power offense, and I want to make sure that we get a first down here on this first drive.
And Seneca really making a living on the ground this season. Their junior Adam Klenk rushed for 188 yards in their first game. So expect a run-heavy offense here tonight. On first down, they will hand it to Klenk, and Klenk is swallowed up near the line of scrimmage. Good defense up front there by Lenape, in there on the stop, Jamal Simon. So there he is right there early, making his presence felt on the Lenape defensive line.
It's going to be tough finding any holes in between this D-line. They had a great week last week, rushing the passer and stopping the run. A little different than the pace we saw last week from Eastern. More slower, methodical offense out of Seneca so far.
Perhaps they're going to want to use the ground game to their advantage and slow this game down. And the shotgun, Braden Davis, the sophomore, takes the snap and hands it to the left side, and that ball is out. And we'll see who recovers it. Lenape's on it. And coming out with the ball for Lenape is Varleese. And beautiful field position now for Lenape to add to their lead. Handed, that's Xavier Coleman running left towards the near sideline, finds a little room. And a couple yards on first down, but we have a flag on the field.
Those stretch plays are really hard for offensive linemen and tight ends. It's hard not to hold the defender that wants to get that outside contain on you there, Ethan.
And Lenape will have to pay there, so that beautiful field position they started with is going to be pushed back 10 yards.
Yeah, it looks like just inside one of the Indians were caught holding.
Xavier Coleman, if you're Seneca, it's a good job keeping him contained on that. Remember, Xavier Coleman, 2 rushing touchdowns, 1 receiving touchdown last week. There really wasn't anything he couldn't do on the field.
Explosive speed, got to try and contain him. Seneca does a good job there.
So now a 1st and 25. Long bobbles the snap, but gets it off to Bruce, and Bruce is brought down. Maybe gets back to the line of scrimmage, setting up a 2nd and long.
You know, this Seneca defense has a lot to respond to here on this drive, giving up a really long touchdown to start the game, and now the ball starts in their territory. Responding pretty well so far.
And that Seneca defensive front, Owen, is definitely the strong suit of this team. Last season, 42 sacks in 12 games. And from the players returning, there's 26 sacks still on that defensive line. So a lot of talent there. And Brady Long is going to have his hands full trying to elude this pressure tonight. Here he is on 2nd and 25. Rolling out to his left. Long will fire towards the sideline, and it's caught. Nice play there. Brought in Braden Dixon, who had the first touchdown of his varsity career last week. Gets started with a catch here early in the first.
Dixon does a good job of watching that ball in there. Eager receivers will just forget to get the ball and look to turn up field. Any gain is better than nothing.
So now a 3rd and a little more manageable. Still long, though, for Lenape.
You have that kicker, though.
You have
that
Shank.
kicker.
waiting in the wings to possibly show off his leg here after his 40-yarder last week. And it was tipped, by the way.
Yeah, found out after the game. Tipped from 40. It's impressive.
Almost made a 51-yarder as well. Former soccer and baseball player. Third down for Lenape. We have a stoppage in play, and Lenape will call a timeout. So Coach Woj wants to talk over this big third down play as Lenape tries to add to their lead. But Owen, if there was one negative that came away from Lenape's opener last week, it was that slow start. It was only 7-0 after the first quarter. I think they fixed that this week, already up 7-0 a couple minutes in.
You know, Ethan, they wanted to put that to bed pretty quickly. I think, 17 seconds into the game with the touchdown, getting a turnover before we're 3 minutes in. Looking pretty good so far.
Yeah, Tyler Davis ran back that pick six, and there were a ton of turnovers forced. Reid had an interception. There was a fumble on a punt that Luke Cole picked up. And so the Lenape defense was forcing a lot of turnovers, and they're right back where they started last week here tonight, forcing the fumble on Seneca's first drive.
Pretty interested with the play call here. They obviously saw something with the timeout. We could see that draw play that we talked about last week.
That's right. Hamza Bruce in the backfield off his touchdown. As Long takes the snap, we see a draw, but nowhere to go for Bruce. There's that defensive line for Seneca plugging up all holes, and it's going to be fourth down. Adam Klenk was in there, the junior. Star running back and D-end for the Golden Eagles. So they're going to send out Shank.
Looks like they're missing a good portion of the field goal unit there. That's a big thing as a player. You got to know all the special teams that you're on. Maybe a mental lapse here. Got guys running on and off.
Might be a time for another timeout for Lenape.
Oh, they're not going to be happy about that.
And yes, they will burn their second timeout in just about a minute. And Coach Woj is not happy.
You practice all week to be ready for that scenario. And in the first quarter, as much as they've set the tone early, you can't have a mental lapse like that, especially when you're about to use a second timeout. We only have one timeout left, and we're not even 4 minutes into this first quarter.
So now Shank's going to get another opportunity to add to his kicking highlight reel in his second season with Lenape. Obviously, Owen, you helped recruit him to the team. He's been very successful, and it looks like football may be his gift.
You know, I think his feet are his gift because soccer was was the thing before football, but he's an impressive athlete. Kickers are athletes too, Ethan.
So here's Shank. Ball spotted at about the 28-yard line. Ball is spotted. Shank's kick. Hits the right crossbar. No good. He had enough leg, but he shot it just off to the right.
The ironic last name is going to get to him there. I'd call that a wee bit of a shank, knowing his leg. He'll bounce back.
You got some puns in you, Owen. That was a nice one. I'll give it to you. Let's take another look if we can get to it. But Lenape couldn't take advantage of that fumble by Seneca on their first offensive drive. And now Braden Davis and company will start from the 28. Davis on first down, gives it to Klenk, and nowhere to go. Klenk is wrapped up and brought down. Reid was in there on the stop with a few other Lenape defenders, setting up a second and long, so good pressure on first down.
Coach Woj has the luxury of knowing that he can kick that field goal because this defense will just be ready to go get that ball right back.
Yeah, the defense was playing very well in terms of turnovers last week. Tyler Davis, 2 interceptions, the pick 6 to get everything started. And he adds to his impressive interception total. He had 4 last year. Always seems to find his way around the ball. Davis is at the bottom of our screen here. 2nd and 15. And on 2nd down, that ball's tipped, and it is picked off. Or is it picked off? No, they're going to say it hit the ground. Hamza Bruce. Nope. They'll give it to him.
The old switcheroo.
One referee supersedes the other, and Lenape forces their 2nd turnover of the evening.
Looks like Jamal Simon might have gotten a hand on it, and I think he does secure that.
So Hamza Bruce comes down with it. He had a touchdown earlier and now a forced turnover. What a start for him and Lenape here on the road.
A leader on this team, and another game, another leader setting the tone for the Lenape Indians. Davis last week, Bruce thus far this week.
Bruce, 2 interceptions, 3 passes defense last season, so he's all over the ball on defense, showing that here early on. Long under center on 1st down, hands it off up the middle. And tough running there by Bruce, and Bruce will find his way inside the red zone for Lenape.
You know, that's just the kind of runner he is. He's just a hard-nosed, downhill runner. He's going to get you those extra yards if you give him the hole. Lenape's offensive line there covered the first-level defenders. Might not have moved him as far as you'd want, but gave the holes for Bruce to find a way to get a big gain on 1st down.
Here we are on 2nd down. Long hands it off. And Bruce trying to find room. Another strong run from him. Maybe 2-3 yards.
You know, that's something else about Hamza Bruce. Very patient runner. That's a mature running back. You have to know to wait for the hole to open. I'd also like to bring light on the fact that Christian Woods, number 70, starting at guard this week, taking over for Jalen Walker. Woods saw action last year, filling in time at guard. Walker was a tight end, primarily a defensive lineman for the Indians.
Woods brings experience as a senior, too. Anything to help this Lenape offensive line try to contain the Seneca front. It's 3rd and 2. Long hands it off to Bruce again. Bruce fighting his way up the middle. And he's near the goal line. We'll see where the refs put it. About at the 2 or 3 yard line.
It's a great job by the Lenape offensive line on 3rd down. Want to talk about double teams getting up to the 2nd level there. Walker, big hit. Hamilton did a good job covering on the 1st level. I'm liking what I'm seeing out of this offensive line in week 2 so far.
And here's where the offensive line really pays off. Near the goal line here, 1st and goal for Lenape. Long to Bruce again. Bruce finds a hole. And he's in for a Lenape touchdown.
Not a whole lot of celebrating.
That one was expected. Hamza Bruce with his 2nd touchdown of the night, and Lenape takes a 13-0 lead.
That had us both a bit confused here in the booth.
Rough angle from up here, but hey, we made it work. And Shank now on for the extra point. And no good on the extra point. So plenty of leg, but just missed his target. But still Lenape a 13-0 lead here on the road. And Owen, this 1-2 punch now that Lenape has is really being shown off. Xavier Coleman's been a little quiet tonight. Hamza Bruce has picked up the slack. How hard does it have to be for Seneca to try and contain those two stars?
I was about to tell you, be quiet over there, Ethan. You might jinx Seneca. Xavier Coleman might unleash himself pretty soon. It's very, very hard to game plan for Lenape's athletes. Dixon has a touch so far. Hamza Bruce has come ready to play, obviously, with his stat line so far. But Tyler Davis and Xavier Coleman are also on this offense. And I mean, it's just like a pick your poison kind of thing.
Lenape definitely shaking off the slow start they had in the first quarter last week. Coach Woj has to be happy with how quick the offense has moved the ball here tonight.
You know, but even with how good they've played so far, I can already pick out 5 mistakes that I really would want to work on next week at practice if I'm Coach Woj. And as good as the scoreboard looks right now, there's improvements from last week, but there's still improvements to be made.
And Shank boots it, just under 6 minutes to go, but it looks like somebody was offsides on the kickoff, so that'll push it back.
Got an eager Beaver. Looks like the first guy next to Shank. It's like Devin West a bit eager there to get going on the coverage team.
So that's going to push the football back to the 35-yard line. But hey, for Shank kicking from the 35-yard line, that could end up in the back of the end zone.
Maybe not tonight. The rain looks like it's beating it down. And
well, the rain is getting a little bit lighter. It's been mostly downpours for all today, but tonight, as soon as the lights came on, the rain lightened up just a little bit. I wouldn't say it's perfect conditions, but good enough for football.
Mother Nature said there's football to be played tonight.
As Shank's kick, a squib up the middle, is picked up at about the 15 and running across the 30 to the 35. That looks like George Thorpe, senior safety and wide receiver for Seneca. And now the Golden Eagles, decent field position here to start their next drive.
And, you know, they didn't do a terrible job last drive of trying to get it going. It just was an unfortunate pass deflection there on their first pass attempt of the game. But again, just a first down, something to get it going, a positive play. They need momentum. They're playing, on paper, a better opponent, but that doesn't mean that they're going to have to play an uphill battle. They just got to start with some momentum here.
So now Davis and Clank lined up for Seneca here on first down. Davis, a design quarterback run to the left, and Davis nowhere to run.
Release again, man.
Good defense up there. That's right. Varlese in there to make the stop. And that's a huge loss on first down.
You can see Hamza Bruce really, really in pursuit there. Was going to get to him anyway. A lot of white jerseys around the football carrier right there.
I mean, Hamza Bruce has to have ran a couple miles here already tonight, right? The long touchdown run. He's in there on defense, chasing defenders. He's all over the field tonight.
You know, he has that zone. We played St. Augustine last year at home, and he played so well, both on defense and on offense. Isaiah Rakes, 300-pound D lineman, runs the ball. Solo tackle, Hamza Bruce. That's a special athlete.
Next level type of toughness for sure. 2nd and 11 for Seneca. Davis back, looking, fires, and it is brought in by Clank. It was nearly intercepted, but Clank is able to haul it in and muscle ahead for a gain of maybe 6 on 2nd down.
I'll tell you what, at practice we have a drill. It's the screen drill. Jalen Walker, Jamal Simon, they've seen this screen drill so many times. And if you watch right here, Walker at your right defensive end, you're going to see him read the quarterback's drop. He's just going back, trying to pull everyone in. You don't see Jalen Walker, 53, right in front of the ball carrier. He doesn't get sucked in by that. It's a great job, and it limits the gain there for Seneca.
Walker had 4 tackles and 2.5 tackles for loss. 1.5 sacks and a QB hurry last week, so he made his presence felt on the stat sheet as well, and he's getting started here tonight. 3rd and 7 for Seneca. And right up the middle, nice play there. Xavier Coleman delivers a huge hit, and it's 4th down.
Wow.
Coach
no
Woj
time.
brought the blitz there on 3rd down, and it might have just caught Seneca by surprise. Take another look.
That's why left tackles get paid. I mean.
And look, he makes the play there, and now he's back to receive the 4th down punt.
There was no time to get that ball out.
On 4th and 15, that's Abate in to boot it for Seneca, also the place kicker. Abate handles the snap. That is a high kick, sailing near midfield. And it takes a little bit of a Seneca bounce to about the 48-yard line, and that's where Brady Long and company will start.
A good job by the Seneca punt team there, getting the ball out of their territory. You know, it might still be a little more than 50 yards away, but it's definitely not the field position Lenape started with last drive.
And with the weather like it is tonight, it may not be the night for Brady Long to sling it, but he may have a few nice throws in him. But he's had a nice start to a season coming off a career year.
For sure, for sure. And I think that Brady Long here tonight just has to take care of the football. And that's the job of the quarterback, and I think he's going to do a pretty good job of that.
2 touchdowns, no picks, 117 quarterback rating last week at home against Eastern. He did it all for Lenape. Here they are at the 48, 1st and 10. Long hands it off. Bruce finds a hole, and Bruce powers past midfield into Seneca territory for a nice first down run.
That's all I'm asking out of that offensive line. Both offensive lines tonight, it's going to be a grind. It's a muddy game. 4 yards on first down. That's huge for our Lenape offensive coordinator, Coach Martino, who now can have a more wide variety of plays he can call because it's 2nd and 6. You get stuffed at 2nd and 9, much more limited, especially with the weather tonight.
Saw Coach Woj a lot of design runs for Coleman last week, really giving the ball to Bruce this week. Maybe just riding the hot hand, or he may have seen something in that Seneca defense. Here's the 2nd and intermediate. Gives it to Bruce again, and there's that Seneca defensive front, swallows him up. And not much yardage to be had there. Albano was in there with help from Zach Fearon there to stop him.
That's the problem with the offensive line right now for Lenape. They're trying to cover him up, but the defensive line of Seneca, really crafty with the hands, able to get off blocks.
So about a 3rd and 6 here for Lenape. And you pick up this first down here, Owen. Momentum really going to swing in Lenape's favor.
Yeah, even though it's 13-0, it's a big play.
Long rolling out to his left, trying to elude the rush. He's able to get it off. That's Cole on the reception. And he finds a lane down inside the 20. He keeps going, and he's brought down at the 18. Luke Cole showing off on offense this week after his great defensive performance in week 1.
Luke Cole should get the ball more. Last season, very, very tough to bring down as a fullback. And look here at a tight end position. Long does a good job of eluding a sack and then just pitching it off to Luke Cole, who just takes it all the way down inside the red zone.
Oh, and that was Will Decker, the captain for Seneca, that nearly brought him down. We saw Brady Long's elusiveness getting out of the pocket last week, and it was needed there on one of the biggest plays of the game thus far. So we close down the end of the first quarter. Long hands it. Cole's got it again, and Cole finds a lane. And he's near the goal line, maybe about the 3-yard line. So all of a sudden, Luke Cole, the senior running back and linebacker, getting some action on the offensive side of the ball.
That was a very basic bread and butter trap call there by Lenape. Luke Cole, a great runner for that, goes north and south. Very, very hard runner. Seneca defense has their hands full right now with the offensive weapons for Lenape.
Well, Coleman, Bruce, and now you add Cole in there. I mean, that's definitely that's having your hands full, if I'd say so.
Definitely a change of pace too. You know, Coleman quick, speedy. Bruce hard hitting yet still fast, and then Cole on the other end of the spectrum, hard hitting, hard to take down.
Cole and Bruce lined up in the eye here on 1st and goal. He'll hand it off to Cole again. Cole trying to find room, stretches out near the goal line.
Ooh.
And one ref seems to be, maybe thought he was showing touchdown for a second, but that looks short to us. It'll be 2nd and goal. Take another look.
It's a great job dropping, getting to all fours there by the Seneca defensive tackle. Something that's not pretty, but necessary to clog up a run play like that.
Good instincts there by Cole. To stretch out near the goal line, and it looks like Coach Woj may let time run out. We'll see if they get one more play off here in the first quarter.
Well, they're looking for it.
And they will not. Narrowly missed it, but Cole had a lane. But nonetheless, what a start for Lenape. A 13-0 lead here in the first quarter. The offense moving the ball well. The defense forcing turnovers. And we will be back for the second quarter. But before that, today's game is brought to you by RX Less. Using RX Less to save on your prescription medications is as easy as search, show, and save. Go to rxless.com to start saving. Second quarter action here on the Play-by-Play Sports Network. Ethan Carpenter alongside Owen Hartman. What a start for Lenape, trying to add to their lead here. Long will give it to Cole again. And pushing forward, Cole's in for a touchdown. And the Lenape lead expands. It's 20-0, 19-0.
Don't assume, Ethan, but
that's
yes.
right. With Shank, you start to assume. That's what it gets to at this point.
Hey, he hasn't had the greatest night so far, but hoping he can pick it up here. Luke Cole, they were determined to let him score there. Even before the break there, they were trying to get that touchdown for him. Great leader, captain, athlete, both sides of the ball. Definitely deserves a touchdown.
Ran a couple inside runs for him. 2 or 3 inside the red zone on the other side of the field before the break. And Salona fumbles the snap. He'll roll out to throw, and it's picked off in the end zone. So the conditions of the field and the football already showing through. Still a 19-0 lead for Lenape.
You jinxed it.
I did jinx it.
Ethan, you jinxed it. No, it's definitely a tough night to snap. Long snapping and regular snapping. So far, Langlois for Lenape's offensive line, along with Seneca's center, they've done a good job tonight, but this long family replay, you can see Luke Cole just cracking through the goal line.
And a good job pushing by the offensive line to kind of move the line of scrimmage forward and to give Cole that room to cross the goal line. All you need is an inch, and he just barely got across there.
Another long family replay. Tough snap, mishandled by Salona. Slippery ball to throw tonight. Tough task your punter to throw a little dot in between 5 defenders.
That's good instincts there by Salona, because that doesn't happen very often, but he was able to move outside the pocket and at least try to find someone for the 2-point conversion.
You know, that's practice. And you know what I used to do before I knew it was going to rain on Friday? I'd have a bunch of the guys on the sidelines when I'm practicing my snaps at the quarterback. They'd take Gatorade bottles and just squirt the ball as I'm snapping. I took a couple guys when I was practicing my snaps the week before a big game when it's raining. I'm like, look, just drench the ball. Get used to touching that ball when it's slippery. Get used to the conditions you're going to see on a Friday night.
It's for nights like these you're prepped for, right?
Definitely.
Here's Shank. Squibb on the kickoff is fielded at about the 20-yard line. And nowhere to go there for Thorpe. Looked like the ball might have came out there. Maybe that was a little bit of grass that flew, but nonetheless, Thorpe is brought down, and Seneca will start their next drive near the 25.
Good job keeping contained there by the Lenape special teams. Not terrible field position here for Seneca, though.
There's been some short kicks from Shank here tonight, and I was going to say that Lenape coverage team has done a great job not letting Seneca break anything free.
No, sir.
Braden Davis on first down, hands it off to Thorpe. Thorpe holding on to that football and drags his defender a couple of yards. A nice run by George Thorpe on first down to set up a 2nd and short.
Center there, Joe Sitter.
Long family replay here. Take another look at that run by Thorpe.
Yeah, Joe Sitter, number 63 center, doing a good job getting off the ball there for Seneca. Really, really nice looking run there, and that's what they need. That's the positive play we talk about for them to start a drive. And look, down 19-0. It's not something you want to see, but a lot of time left in this game.
Just approaching a minute into this second quarter. Davis in the shotgun again on first down. Hands it to his right. That's Klenk trying to make a move near the sideline and runs into a pile of Lenape defenders. And he will move the chains for Seneca. So a nice run there. And we'll check it out again on the long family replay.
Another good job by the Seneca offensive line. Really starting to move north and south. And that Lenape defensive line doesn't have that extra oomph that they had when they came out originally.
So given the conditions, both offensive lines have actually played pretty well tonight.
It's hard being an offensive lineman in a rainy game. There's a lot riding on you, and then those very few throws do determine the game. Long making a nice throw there to Cole that set up that one touchdown, the last touchdown for Lenape, but Seneca not so lucky when they've looked to pass so far.
Davis on first down, a designed run up the middle. And a good job by the defensive line for Lenape.
As well as Trey Rice there came through
Rice
to
was in
finish
there
it
for the
off.
stop. As well as a few other members on that defensive line, setting up a 2nd and 8. So both these teams have some star running backs. How easy does that make it for an offensive lineman when you know you got a superstar back there? Does it make your job? How does that play in your head?
Well, you know that they're going to get their touches and that they can have a special moment, but you also have to provide the holes for them to be able to do that. So there's a little bit of pressure and there's a little bit of ease in mind when you know that guy's in the backfield.
Davis on 2nd and 8. Another handoff up the left. And spinning out of a tackle is Clank. Clank breaks free, and he's dragged down at the 40. Reid for Lenape saved a touchdown. And good, strong running by the junior captain.
Just trying to catch the numbers there, the offensive line. The left side of the offensive line here on the long family replay. Take a look. Just a great job of setting the edge for Clank to find a way through. Great pull by 68. It's Quinn McMullen. Great job. And then Clank doing the rest, being special like the athlete he is. And that's what you talk about by having a special back behind you. Offensive line gets rewarded for a good initial block. 20 more yards down the field later, and now you're in Lenape territory.
Luke Cole nearly had that tackle, which would have been a short gain. The biggest play of the night for Seneca. Here's Davis rolling out on first down, and nowhere to run there. Good job up front by Lenape. Tyler Davis flew over at the end. And there was reinforcements there to stop the first down run.
Reinforcements. Ethan, half the defense was breathing down his neck right there. If you look here on the long family replay, Verlies and Simon and Walker and Davis are all in pursuit after Cole makes the tackle.
A lot of designed runs for this Seneca offense. They're averaging 148 rush yards a game through their 2 games this season and only 41 receiving yards. So a lot of running plays, a lot of designed quarterback runs. And Lenape definitely must have been watching some film to stop that play there.
Of course. Coach Fisher down at Seneca probably has a pretty deep playbook. 17 years here. Definitely has a bit up his sleeve for play calling tonight.
2nd and 12 for Seneca at about the 37. And the handoff to Clank. Nowhere to run. Good defense up front. Xavier Coleman. Simon was in there. And another loss on 2nd down brings up a 3rd and a mile.
Take a look here on the long family replay. Xavier Coleman unblocked off the edge. Clank has nowhere to go. Walker comes through, and Simon also comes through to finish it off. It's a great job by Lenape's defense.
Well, and see, you don't get the highlight hit there from Xavier Coleman, but he was able to set the edge there and send the run back up the middle, and that's almost even more important than the big highlight hit that we saw earlier.
On paper, that first one was a sack. This one's a tackle for loss.
That's right.
Does a job. But, man, that hit had me speechless. I couldn't contain how. I mean, that's football. I mean, that's tough for Seneca, but what a hit.
It froze me for a second. That was definitely a nice play. And now Seneca, an interesting situation here. Down 19-0, 3rd and 14. You pick up some yardage here. Maybe it's 4-down territory.
Potential 4-down territory, of course, Ethan.
Davis under center. And he will keep it, and Davis is wrapped up and brought down after a minimal gain. And a good stop. That's Robert Miles in on the tackle, and it sets up a 4th and intermediate.
And if you look here on the long family replay, Davis does a great job of selling the give, keeps it, and I would love to see that play on a 2nd and 6 or something like that. Seneca, that's a great play to have.
A great play it is, but nonetheless, it leads to a 4th and 11, and an interesting decision for head coach Bill Fisher. Like you mentioned, his 17th season at Seneca, the only head coach in the program's history. 73 and 96 record. And he is going to keep the offense on the field. Davis takes the 4th down snap and fumbles it, but we have a flag.
Definitely movement pre-snap.
It might have just saved a turnover there for Seneca.
imagine that's going to put them to punt with the false start penalty there for Seneca.
They will bring in a bait for another punt tonight on now a 4th and 16.
You know, Golden Eagle fans probably upset about that, but look, you're flipping the field and you're making it tough for Lenape's offense now go the whole way back to score.
A bait almost lost the snap, and whistles were blown. We'll see what the call is.
Another. Appears to be another false start or a timeout. Timeout Seneca. Coach Fisher might not have seen something that he liked. Maybe he wants to bring the offense back out.
Well, yeah, that's what's interesting, Owen. It looks like Seneca is bringing their offense back out.
Or,
a 4th and 16.
Or no,
Or no, Lenape's back out. Confusing play there, not sure.
Oh, you know what it was? Kicker's knee was down, touching the ball.
So the ball was dead at that exact spot, and that's where Lenape will start. Abate did have trouble with that snap. You don't see that much in football, but nonetheless, no. Lenape gets good field position at the 41. Long has it on first down, and he's wrapped up and brought down. And a log family replay. We'll take a look at that 4th down play again. Abate. Yep, his right knee hit the grass. And you don't blame him there. The snap was a little low, and he had a couple Lenape defenders flying right at him.
Heck, Ethan, I was confused. You know, you forget that the NFL is the one where you can put your knee down and you can still get up and kick it. College, that's also down. So, little mental lapse there, but also a hard snap to fumble, and got us tricked up here in the booth. So,
not much you can do there if you're Abate. Long on first down. Has Reid on the near sideline. Reid breaks a couple tackles, and he is in for a Lenape touchdown.
That's a great play by all 11 people on the field for Lenape. What a block by Tyler Davis, number 2 in the secondary, making it a easy walk into the end zone touchdown for Reid.
Reid had the interception last week. He was a little quiet on offense, only 2 catches for 18 yards, but he already defeats that yard total right there on that huge play on the first play of the drive for Lenape.
And it appears we are going for 2 here. Lenape looking for more points.
Long in the shotgun, Bruce to his left. Receivers bunch to the top of the screen. Long to his left, looking, and he almost had his man Dixon in the back of the end zone. So the 2-point conversion is foiled.
We talked about this earlier with Dixon's other catch here on the near sideline. Watch that ball in the long family replay. Got to watch that ball in. Maybe slipped out. Tough weather conditions to play football tonight.
Take another look at Reid there. Blazing speed. Making a couple guys miss. That was George Thorpe for Seneca, trying to get a hand on him at that last moment. But once he broke that tackle, Reid was gone for the end zone.
Ty Davis just gave that secondary player a ride. No shot for him to make the last tackle, and Reid walks into the end zone. Lenape fans asking, what's next year going to look like? A whole lot of Kobe Reid probably, and doing a whole lot of that. No Xavier Coleman, no more Hamza Bruce. Offense is going to have turnover, but it's good to see that the future's bright with Reid in the backfield and in the slot too.
And you talked about Tyler Davis. Oh, and how much does that add to a receiver's repertoire if they can block on the outside? You don't see that often in high school.
Oh, it makes me pumped up. And, you know, that's the defense in him. You know, he loves to hit people. And Tyler Davis in practice, first day of hitting last year, he's one of those guys screaming, strapping the helmet up extra hard, getting in on that first play. Loves to play football, got a real passion for the game. And that's what your leader really needs to do, and Tyler Davis is definitely that.
Davis, a Delaware commit. He won the Max Preps Player of the Week honors against Eastern last week for his 2-interception performance.
Well deserved. Set the tone. That game was looking like Eastern could, you know, be in it early on, and Davis's pick 6 just put that to bed pretty quickly.
Now Seneca's going to need a big play here, down 25-0, about 4.5 minutes to go in the first half. Salona now in to kick it off for Lenape. Salona boots it, and it's fielded by Thorpe at the 12-yard line. And Thorpe is brought down near the 30. So a decent return there for Seneca to start their next drive.
So I know Dylan Shank had some leg tightness in his quad and his hamstring this week, a lot of icing it. Might not have kicked at practice yesterday, a lot of tightness after practice Wednesday. No surprise, just making sure he's all right.
It's got to correlate to possibly the weather and field conditions today. You don't want to risk anything.
Yeah, of course. The decision probably with that earlier in the week added to the weather conditions. Seeing him kick thus far tonight, probably not 100% himself. So up 25-0. Coach Woj says pull the plug. Salona's a great special teamer as well, so get to see a little more of him tonight.
Salona was great on punts last week.
I don't think we'll be seeing him on many punts tonight the way this one's going so far.
Haven't seen him much tonight, that's right. And now a 1st and 10 from the 30. Davis trying to get things going for Seneca. Davis will keep it. Davis will run, and Davis will pick up about 5 yards on 1st down. Nice run by the QB.
You know, Ethan, that's the momentum you need to start a drive with. We talked about it last drive, and that, you know, they almost broke into Lenape territory into the red zone, but, you know, stopped before they could do so. But that kind of momentum starting a drive, you could see some positive yardage like we did last drive.
Davis over on the sideline for Seneca. Getting a play call. So, and if you're Seneca, maybe you want to slow this drive down, try and get something on the scoreboard before the break, and then kind of recoup and see where everything goes in the second half.
Lenape scores in a hurry. Easiest way to not let them score is to not let them get the ball. Snapping with 2 hands is the center at Seneca. Interesting.
Davis will hand it off, and Clank cuts back towards the middle of the field. And he gets to about the 40-yard line. So a nice run, setting up a 3rd and maybe 6 inches.
Yeah. And look, that's what that 1st down play does. Playbook's a little more open. Fisher can have a little more confidence in the play call, knowing that he'll have 2 shots getting this 1st down where they don't have to worry about getting yards before they do so. And now, 3rd and inches, Seneca's starting to get a little bit of a rhythm here on this drive.
Davis and Seneca have really been working the QB keeper here tonight, and Davis has been even faking out our cameras a little bit. You don't know if he has the ball or if Clank or Thorpe has the ball. So a good job by the 6'1 sophomore. 3rd and short. Davis will keep it himself, and he will plow ahead for Seneca 1st down.
Little by little, this offensive line, they're starting to sell me that they're doing a pretty good job tonight. They're going against a really good defensive front, a really good 7 in the box for Lenape. It's a special group you're going against, and you're starting to get a rhythm going against them. It's pretty telling about what kind of offensive line they have here at Seneca.
As we wind down the final moments of the 1st half. Patient play calling, too. Davis running off the field in between plays, getting the play call. Not sure if it's a communication issue or if it's simply they just want to slow down the pace. But they have a 1st down here from the 42. Davis will keep it again. Davis running right. And he's brought down after a couple yards on the gain. Hamza Bruce was there.
I like what Seneca's offense is doing here as we look at the long family replay. Davis with another keep, but he really sells the give. Causes Lenape's defensive line to come upfield and a short gain on 1st down, but the rhythm is really starting to be built here. If they don't score, they definitely have some momentum building here going into halftime due to the Golden Eagles.
And Owen, how tiring does that have to be for a defense with a quarterback who can run like that on 3, 4, 5 plays in a row?
I'll tell you what, when it comes to assignments for a defense, makes you think a little bit more, causes a little bit of hesitation, especially when they're in the mesh. Is he going to give? Is he going to keep? Causes the athletes on Lenape to slow it down a little bit. A timeout here by Seneca.
Seneca calls a timeout. Want to discuss their play call a little more, and I was about to say, and it's getting into the danger zone for Seneca. A little over a minute left. You're going to want to push this ball downfield a little bit. The rain is starting to come down here in Tabernacle. And we mentioned this earlier in the broadcast. So Lenape had a great game last week. And it's different circumstances this season. There's going to be no playoffs. What is the motivation in a shortened season when you're a team like Lenape, number 3 in the state, when they're so successful? Where do you turn your motivation to rack up some wins down the stretch?
No, just to go out there, have fun playing ball with your brothers. That's just what football is about, and that's a tight-knit group of guys there on that sideline, as I'm sure it is here for Seneca. Both very successful cultures in South Jersey football, and the motivation is just to enjoy playing football. For a lot of guys, this sport's an escape. It's their way out of their situations that they're in, and it's just something that they love to do. They love the grind. They embrace it, and you can see the real love and passion as they play for a lot of guys on both teams. I mean, Davis, he's putting his body on the line right now for Seneca, and that shows a lot about his character and his passion for his team, especially when you're talking about a season that, doesn't have the playoffs, but it isn't about all the glitz and glam. It's just about the love of the game sometimes.
And a 2nd and 7 out of the timeout for Seneca. That's Handy in motion for the Golden Eagles.
Having trouble on that left side of the offensive line with some pre-snap movement. Just sucks the air out of the winds out of the sails for the Golden Eagles here.
Take a look at the long family replay. Get another look at that false start.
Yep, right there.
Left tackle.
Left tackle.
That's Chris Baladi now.
It's tough now. 2nd and 12. You're slowly edging up the field. You take a timeout. You come out of that timeout penalty. I've been there before. It's not fun to hear from your coaches after.
So 2nd and long for Davis. Hands it off to Clank. Clank running left. And a powerful run, maybe 5 yards on 2nd down. Setting up a 3rd and long as we wind down in the final minute of the first half.
Here on the long family replay, Clank does a good job getting outside of the mess. Just gives Reid a little bit of a ride before he goes down. Clank really showing what kind of athleticism he has to offer here tonight. Clank and Davis, the real reasons this Seneca offense is staying on the field here on this drive.
Clank, a powerful runner. We were talking about this earlier. They gave him 27 rushes for 188 yards in their Week 1 loss to Cherry Hill West. So Clank that week really was the offense. He was really the engine that got Seneca going. So presumably here, the last play of the first half. Is Davis communicating with the sideline. And another pre-snap whistle.
It's a delay of game. You have a game clock.
A delay of game will send Seneca 5 yards back for the final 3 seconds of the first half.
Just didn't get it off in time. Davis has to know that, especially as the leader of the offense. The quarterback got to know.
And so that will do it for the first half of action here from Tabernacle. Lenape has been firing on all cylinders behind an impressive performance from Hamza Bruce, scoring a long touchdown on the second play from scrimmage, and they haven't looked back. It's 25-0 here at halftime on the Play by Play Sports Network. Welcome back to Tabernacle, everyone on our YouTube stream tonight. Play-by-Play Sports Network, Lenape and Seneca battling for some Friday night football glory. And we're going to run some replays here, long family replays from our first half of action. It was Hamza Bruce on the second play from scrimmage. Owen, he's electric on the football field.
That's breakaway speed there by 5. Bruce, a special talent out of the backfield for Lenape.
And that got things going early for Lenape, and then this helped too. A tip at the line of scrimmage, and there he is again, Hamza Bruce there for the pick.
Had a great way to set the tone here for the Lenape captain. Hamza Bruce just clicking on all cylinders.
And Bruce again, his second touchdown. So Coleman picked up the slack on offense last week, and now Bruce this week doing it for him. Oh yeah, and then that hit from Xavier Coleman, one of the biggest plays of the first half.
If that's the last highlight from the first half for Lenape, it's quite the half.
It left us speechless up here. 25-0 as Salona is set to kick off the second half here from Tabernacle. His kick gets to the 15. His knee was down, though, and that is where the Seneca Golden Eagles will start their first drive of the second half.
Just like the debacle with the punt there late in the second quarter. Knee down, and the play's dead.
Now, Seneca had a nice drive to close out the first half. They were making some inroads, a few penalties, though, and they slowed things down and weren't able to put any points on the scoreboard. Oh, and if you're Seneca, what are your keys to getting some points on the scoreboard here to start the second half?
To build upon that last drive, Coach Fisher, smart move, cut your losses, don't let any more points for the Indians in the half. Come out because you know you're going to get the ball after halftime. And just see if you can replicate that drive with not as many mistakes.
Davis on first down, the hands off, and hold on a second. Some ref whistles. We'll see what the call is.
Appears to be on the Indians.
Offsides on Lenape, so tack on 5 yards, and now a 1st and 5 for Seneca.
Did not catch who it was. Lenape had a blitzer coming off the left side.
Yeah, tried to get a look there on the long family replay. We'll take one more look. And now it doesn't look like we're going to get it, but it sets up a nice first down here for Seneca. The hands off to Clank, nowhere to run, and that's Varlese in there. He's made some nice plays on defense tonight.
That's one of the guys that have waited years for their time to come, and number 9's shown up here tonight. And if you looked at the end of that play right there, Hamza Bruce just came in and just piled everyone over. It's pure strength.
So Varlese kind of the setup there, and then Bruce finished it off.
Play was already dead by forward progress, but Bruce just wanted to make sure there was no more daylight for the Golden Eagle Clank.
Well, now here to start the second half, Owen. Seneca's moving real slow. You remember last week, Eastern in both halves, moving real fast. Both teams last week, a lot of bubble screens, quick plays on the outside, and Seneca's just trying to slow down their offense and run up the middle. That's kind of been their bread and butter throughout this one. As on first down, they hand it, or on second down, my apologies, to Clank, and he's brought down. Nice blocking on the outside there by Seneca. Baldacchino was there, number 66. You got to like to see that, right, Owen?
I love offensive linemen getting after it, especially on a muddy night like tonight. Clank doing a great job being a hard-nosed runner tonight. And this offensive line gets off the ball nice here, and it's one of the reasons why they really have a good run. Nice job trapping the inside D-tackle. Clank finds a way to get forward. And then also holds onto the ball, number 3, Trey Rice for Lenape, looking to steal that one back.
Another handoff on first down to Clank, and he's upended behind the line of scrimmage. Cole was there alongside Rice. And a small loss on first down. Good defense by Lenape.
That was a nice effort there by the linebackers. Take a look on the long family replay. Rice, the initial shock. Cole said, "I'll take that."
Good form there by Rice there on the tackle, right? Goes low, keeps his head high.
Coach Woj, really good at tackling himself. Definitely knows how to teach a thing or two to his linebackers, but very nice form fit, and that's the way you want to see it for safety and for clean play. You know, you talk about last week, he had that Xavier Coleman hit head-to-head. That big hit he had on Davis there in the first half, thunderous but clean.
Thunderous but clean, correct. And you want to see clean football, especially on a night like tonight with a slippery field. 2nd and 10, Davis on the fake, fires towards the sideline, and that catch is made by Jake Handy, and he maybe gets a yard or two on 2nd down.
Good poise by Davis, checking all of his options. Just keeping it simple, not making any mistakes. Release, taking the receiver out of bounds.
Davis has large shoes to fill. Obviously, Malin Jasinski, now the quarterback for TCNJ, not playing this year, obviously. But Jasinski, one of the best quarterbacks in Seneca school history. And now they're going to have to lean more on the ground attack as they have a young sophomore quarterback trying to move him into the role more over the next few years.
And that's the key. You know, when you're developing a quarterback, just lean on everybody else a little bit more, because later on in his career is when everybody else is going to lean on him. Time to develop here for Davis. Learned under a great leader, captain, and athlete in Malin Jasinski.
Davis on 3rd and 9. Steps up in the pocket, finds a lane, and a nice hit there by Xavier Coleman. And that'll bring up 4th down and presumably a Seneca punt.
Take a look here on the long family replay. Davis takes a look, doesn't see a lot, little pressure, makes him come out of the pocket, and Coleman does not hold back. He definitely has that pop that you'd expect out of a Boston College commit. And now there to field the punt.
Coleman and Braden Dixon back to receive the kick. And Abate is back to kick it for Seneca. Abate gets off a nice one, a little bit of a low kick, though, at the 40, and it's picked up by Dixon, and Dixon slips. Good coverage there by the captain, Jake Handy, and Lenape will bring their offense out to the 36-yard line.
Ethan, I thought slide tackling was for soccer. That was a pretty unconventional way to bring down Dixon, but nonetheless, Seneca flips the field here, and now Lenape has to go, let's say, 65 yards.
The long family replay here to see, was it the tackle or was it the field? And it was the tackle. Handy got his foot in there at the last second, and Dixon lost footing.
Whatever gets the job done.
So now Lenape coming out for a drive. A lot of people owing on their offense in the first half, getting touches. Luke Cole, Hamza Bruce. Not much Xavier Coleman, though. Be interesting to see if he gets his touches here to start the second half. Just a little over 7.5 to go in the third. Long on 1st down. He will fire down the near sideline, and it's nearly intercepted. Handy was in there to break it up. And now Lenape maybe trying to stretch the field a little bit on 1st down.
You know, the rain's let up a little bit. Everybody's settled in the game a little more. I like the shot taking for Xavier Coleman. Hasn't seen the ball on offense that much. Doesn't mean we haven't said his name a lot tonight, but, you know, you try and get everyone involved. And, you know, Long's ball was in the area. Good overall play on 1st down. Now it's 2nd and 10.
Oh, and how's the mindset for an offensive line? You've been running practically the whole night, and now Coach Woj says, hey, Brady Long, you're going to sling it down the near sideline. How do you play that if you're an offensive lineman?
You know, Ethan, I was going to predict a throw there, because out of the huddle, those offensive linemen took their time knowing this one wasn't going to be straight downhill.
Long hands it off to Coleman on 2nd down, and Coleman shakes a few tacklers, but he's eventually brought down by George Thorpe.
Take a look here on the Long family replay. Coleman in motion. Good block there by Bruce, but looks like one just got away there for Lenape in the blocking.
So a 3rd and 9 now for Lenape. Good chance for Seneca to force a 3 and out.
I talked about this earlier when that punt was actually downed in Lenape territory. Good job flipping the field. Let's see if they can hold it.
Long on the screen. He has Bruce, and Bruce has room to run, and he sidesteps towards the middle of the field and picks up the first down. Hamza Bruce, dangerous in the open field.
Takes discipline to know when a screen is coming. Long just stepping all the way back there. Yeah, take a look here on the Long family replay, going all the way back 10 yards deep from his initial spot. Bruce just too much space, but looks like we're going to have a penalty. I thought I caught that there.
We are going to have a penalty, sending Lenape back. So the nice third down pickup on the screen pass to Bruce is erased.
I did catch offensive lineman there, kind of keeping too many hands on a linebacker on that screen.
Well, those screen plays got to be tough to block for, right?
You just have to trust that the running back is going to make you right. Take the guy that you're trying to block one way. Don't try and hold him, and that was the mistake there by a Lenape offensive lineman.
So a 3rd and 13 from the 34-yard line for Lenape. Long is flushed out to his right. Sees a man downfield. He will fire down the far sideline, and good defense on the outside by Seneca. Zach Fearon has made a few plays on defense for the Golden Eagles tonight, and it's a 4th and long.
Great coverage there by Fearon.
And there's another flag on the field as we take a look here at the Long family replay.
I want to get a good look at the sticks here. Yep, looks like Long might have been ahead of it. Maybe not. We'll see what the call on the field is and whether they accepted the penalty.
It's on Lenape, so that'll push them back a little farther.
And it looks like we are getting ready to punt.
And obviously, Seneca declines after the 4th down stop. It's a good job by the Golden Eagles to firm up on defense and force a 3 and out.
I was mentioning this while 3rd down was happening on that screen. Flip the field, maybe a little bit better field position here.
Solona, a high arcing kick. That bounces at the 35, takes a Lenape bounce back to about the 33. And Braden Davis will head out to captain another drive for the Golden Eagles.
It's generally a good night for an offense when you don't see your punter punt until the 3rd quarter. Nonetheless, though, a lot of mistakes to clean up here for Lenape. A little sloppy. Obviously a great game so far, but there's definitely mistakes that you're going to see watching the film on Monday.
And Owen, how much do you tack that on to maybe earlier in the season? I mean, obviously the season just started last week in October, which is rare, and obviously the field conditions aren't great tonight.
I would attribute it to both those things and just a younger squad with places that guys don't exactly have the experience they need.
Davis gives it to Klenk on 1st down. Nice running by Klenk on the left side towards the far sideline. Couple yards on 1st down.
Boys, Klenk explosive out of the backfield. Just love the way he falls forward. Again, as an offensive lineman, you love seeing that running back try and claw for every inch. Pretty good blocking there, covering it up there. The Seneca offensive line.
And that's Baldacchino, who's really been finishing well on his blocks, number 66 for Seneca here tonight.
Saying his name a little bit more as we've gone along.
Got to give the O-lineman some love, right, Owen?
Oh, you have no idea how it feels when they say your name on the loudspeaker.
Davis keeps it, loses his footing, and falls down for a loss of maybe 1 on 2nd down.
Tough end of the field for footing. You can see at Davis's feet as he's about to catch the snap. Just muddy conditions around and not what he's used to. And I don't blame him.
Davis has been asked to run the ball a lot on design quarterback runs and quarterback fakes and things tonight. He's been asked to do a lot, so understandably loses his footing there on 2nd down.
I was just about to bring that up. A lot of quarterback runs. Him and Klenk really kind of been asked to take care of the offensive duties tonight for the Golden Eagles.
4.5 minutes to go here in the 3rd quarter. No scoring thus far in the second half. Still a 25-0 lead for Lenape. As another handoff to Clank, running strong up the middle. And Clank is brought down after about a maybe 4 or 5 yard gain, setting up 4th down. And an interesting decision here for Seneca.
Due to the score and the timing that we have left in the game, I think it's a no-brainer to have to go for it here if you're Coach Fisher. Especially the way Clank and Davis have been running. Outside of that slip on this drive, not a bad start. 3 yards, definitely something that's obtainable.
But still around their 35-yard line.
That field is muddy right there.
That field is muddy, right between the 35 and the 25-yard line, far side of the field in Seneca territory. And Owen, we talked about it at halftime. That's back to the first fumble of the game. A lot of players in that area. And it's a dangerous spot on the field. Davis takes the snap on 4th down, tries to lunge ahead on the quarterback keeper, but he is short, and it's a turnover on downs. Lenape will get it back.
I hope everybody's okay. Davis, a bit of a limp coming off there.
Davis had a limp in the first half. There's something to keep an eye on. Take another look on the long family replay.
That's tough, trying to get that ball in the mesh to run the option. You don't catch that clean. That has to do with the weather. That has to do with maybe the pressure of it being 4th down. And Davis is just doing so much tonight. Cannot blame the kid for that 4th down play there. And coming off the field, showing his passion, being injured, still finding his way off the field, getting ready for the next War Eagle drive.
And it was Jamal Simon coming from the weak side to stop him. Good effort by the defensive front for Lenape. Long on 1st down, gives it to Reid. Reid on the outside and can't shake a tackler, and he's brought down. Initial contact made by Zach Worrell, the senior defensive back for the Golden Eagles. 2nd down.
That's our 5th runner for Lenape if you count Long tonight on a designed run. So definitely showing versatility in who can run the ball tonight out of the backfield for the Indians. Great job tackling as a group there for the Golden Eagles. There are little things that you can take out of this game for Seneca. Look, Lenape's a great program, a great team. And on paper, they were supposed to come in here and do a lot worse. I think Seneca's done a really good job of containing them, especially in the second half. No scoring.
The defensive front for Seneca is their strong suit as Long fires outside, and there's Dixon. Fresh off his first touchdown of his varsity career last week, has had a couple nice catches here tonight.
It's natural talent to just get a really good grab on the ball. You watch how tight this ball comes in. Good footwork, holding on the sideline. Got a tackler coming right in. Dixon said, "Give me that." Wraps it right up into his shoulder. And we got 3rd and 1 right here.
Braden Dixon definitely developing into an X factor for Lenape's offensive attack this season. It's 3rd and short. I'm just inside the 30-yard line. Long rolling right, and he fires just out of the reach of the senior Tyler Davis, bringing up a 4th and short.
Obviously 2-down territory for the Indians, but interesting decision there by Brady Long. I know he had Davis open, but appeared he had enough room there to the right side to get the 1st down on his own.
And with kicker Dylan Shank presumably not kicking for the rest of the night, Coach Woj will send the offense back out for a 4th and short.
This is where I really want to see the offensive line get after it, especially if they're going to run one up the middle. This is where you look at the guy in front of you and you say, look, we're getting that yard no matter what.
Long hands it off to Reid. Reid breaks the tackle, and he'll keep going. Reid is in for a Lenape touchdown. Strong running by the junior running back.
When we open the broadcast, we don't even mention Kobe Reid when we mention weapons for the Lenape Indians. But look, 2 touchdowns. Great showing out of the backfield on that drive. Already has a reception for a touchdown tonight. Showing the depth at those skill positions for this Lenape team.
And now a 31-0 lead for Lenape.
And this confirms it. Looks like Shank will no longer be kicking tonight. Salona to attempt the extra point. Shank on the hold, though, so appears to be a leg issue.
And a bobbled hold, and Shank is brought down. Ball is out, and it's picked up by Seneca.
If there is a leg injury, I'm not sure that's exactly what Coach Woj would be rooting for your potentially injured kicker to.
And it looks like Shank fell down in that exact area of the field, Owen, we were talking about. As we take a look at the long family replay on the touchdown from Reid. Strong running.
So many tackles. I think I counted 4, but then Dixon says, nope, no shot for you. Wide receivers blocking to finish plays, make big runs. Boy, does that get me fired up. I love that out of Dixon. You know, a receiver that just wants anything for his team to score. And that's unselfish football. That's team football, and that shows the kind of culture that the coaches instill on the wide receivers. You saw Davis throw a big block at the end of Reid's touchdown, the other one.
And that's something you typically see out of senior wide receivers, right? But Dixon, a junior, so Dixon, next year.
Boy, hey. I'm fired up just thinking about it.
And if you're Seneca, you know, that's the first points you give up in the second half. Lenape really had to grind that drive out. So Seneca, that's a win for them, especially since Lenape was putting up points quick in the first half.
Lenape appeared to be scoring at will, especially after the second play from scrimmage being a touchdown. But look, that Seneca defense has a lot on its hands, and it stood tall at multiple opportunities for Lenape to score. Forced a 4th and 1. Obviously, it didn't work out, but a lot of positives to take away from that drive for the Seneca defense and so far in this half.
Salona's kick with 1.5 minutes left in the third is received at about the 10-yard line and brought across by Handy, and he's brought down. Good special teams there by Lenape.
I think I caught that number. Was it Jared
Charles?
Green?
Might have been Charles Robinson, number 12 in there.
Okay.
On the big special team stop.
Yep. Both secondary players, both similar looking. You got the better eye than I do there, Ethan. Good call.
Hey, I try.
Lenape's depth at skill positions is just ridiculous. I mean, Jairus Green and Charles Robinson, both guys that, again, would start maybe number 1 corner at a lot of other high schools. You got Davis, you got Rice, you got Coleman.
And don't forget about Clank and Thorpe on the other side. For Seneca, a lot of talented skill position players out here tonight as the first down run is ahead for a couple. Good push there by the Seneca offensive line.
The more I watch the Seneca offensive line, the more I like how they work as a unit.
Oh, in this game, and the last for Seneca, not so close of a result, but their first game against Cherry Hill West, they did have a 7-0 lead at halftime, but it was a fumble return for a touchdown of 35 yards and a 97-yard pick six that resulted in a 14-7 loss. Do you think that kind of loss can deflate a team and maybe it's carrying over into these next few weeks?
Yes, Clank gets the carry here. Good run, but if you look at that game, obviously I wasn't there, but just hearing the way that the scoring went on paper, 2 big plays for Cherry Hill West, and that's just tough if you're the Golden Eagles of Seneca, because you obviously had control of that game. If you went down the field and had that many rushing yards, I mean, can definitely deflate some optimism you have towards your offense. I can definitely see that offensive line getting Clank over 180 yards, though.
The offensive line did come to play as we wind down on the third quarter of action. Here from Seneca High School in Tabernacle, New Jersey. Lenape puts 6 points on the scoreboard in the second half. They lead 31-0. And before we head to our break, today's game again is brought to you by RX Less. Using RX Less to save on your prescription medications is as easy as search, show, and save. Go to rxless.com to start saving. Back for the fourth quarter on the Play by Play Sports Network after this. Fourth quarter action on the Play-by-Play Sports Network. Ethan Carpenter alongside Owen Hartman. 31-0. Lenape leads as Seneca has the ball to start the final frame of action. And the run to Clank, who's been getting a lot of action tonight. It's about a yard or two on first down. It's been a well-rounded attack for Lenape tonight. Reid, Hamza Bruce all getting in on the action. Couple deep passes downfield for Brady Long, but really it's been a game all on the ground and about that offensive line.
For sure. And if you look at both teams, it's just running in between the tackles. Clank, and then you have Bruce and Long and Reid there on that last drive for Lenape, and Davis running for Seneca too. Davis has done a great job tonight running in between the tackles at the quarterback position.
Davis handles the high snap on first down, and that run goes forward for a couple.
It's like Camarado along with Bruce there to clean that one up.
Camarado was in there. Jaheim Lee also was in there on the stop.
You know, my junior year, I've been in similar situations as Seneca's in right now, and I've been harping on it this second half, is picking out those positives that you can bring as you grow as a team, and they're definitely there. And I know it's hard when you look up at the scoreboard and you're down by 31 and the team in front of you has just had your number all night, but Seneca's not laying down and giving up yet. They're still gaining yards, trying to put positive plays out there on the field.
Davis hands it off on the right side. Nice run. A couple yards there. That is Clank again. And Lenape, in a similar situation last week. They were up 38-0, and then they gave up that quarterback run for Eastern. As you take a look, the long family replay there. How much do you think Coach Woj talked about in practice this week? Hey, like they were up 38-0 last week. Don't let up. Don't give up touchdowns in the final couple minutes. Do you think that was a big point in practice this week?
As a sophomore, I played on that second defensive unit for Woj in 2017, and we almost gave up a touchdown in a shutout, and they love shutouts. Coaches love shutouts. Every coach loves a shutout, and they don't want any blemishes, no mistakes on film. Sure, they talked about that one on Monday, and it wasn't fun.
Davis, way to handle the snap there. He's able to get it out to Clank, and Clank is hit on the play. He was already down. Robert Miles delivered the blow there. We'll take another look at that hit by Miles on the long family replay. Great job by Davis handling the snap. Not much Clank could do there, losing his footing.
Just happens to be the way the football game was going there for him to get walloped on the ground. Not something you'd love to see, but obviously the officials understood that that's just the way the game was going. Just a bang-bang play.
And Vince Abate will head back out for Seneca to punt it away.
Abate's done a good job tonight so far. Outside of the one where the knee was down on the tough snap, I mean,
nothing he could do there, too.
Nothing he could do there, and I'm sure the long snapper had a problem with how muddy that field is.
Here's Abate again. That one's a high, short kick.
I jinxed him.
Down at about the 45-yard line. So, Owen, that's some of the best field position Lenape's had in a while. They've been basically starting in their own territory for most of the night.
Yeah, so we'll be able to see if Lenape can put one in there quickly, but Seneca defense has been holding strong here in the second half. Maybe they can put some good plays together here, get that ball back for Davis, Clank in the offense, and see if the Golden Eagles put some points up here.
8.5 minutes to go from the 45. Long and company trying to build on their 31-0 lead.
Good communication pre-snap by the offensive line here.
Long flushed to his left on first down, and he has his man up near the 30-yard line. Xavier Coleman hauls it in.
And pre-snap, I was able to tell that was going to be a pass play. If you look here on the long family replay, the offensive line talks about their assignments that they're going to get, and that's a good job, giving Brady Long a good chance to get that ball out. A little bit of a speed out left, but Xavier Coleman finds the opening in the defense, and here we are knocking on the door in the red zone for the Lenape Indians.
A quiet night for Xavier Coleman, but that's not necessarily a bad thing, considering some of his teammates have picked up the slack.
quiet on the offensive end.
But on the defensive end, a much different story. 1st and 10 from the 30. Long, moving around in the pockets, able to get it off. And Dixon was the closest one there, but that pass falls incomplete.
Want to be pass and pass again if you look here at the Long family replay. Clank almost gets there on the outside, causes pressure. Long tries to get out of the pocket, just gets it off in time.
Now, Owen, we're seeing Long move around in the pocket. Was this the same when you were there at center last year? Were there a lot of design quarterback runs, or is that Brady Long's playing style where he likes to kind of work the edges and throw on the run?
I think Brady Long's a great decision maker, and he understands how important it is to take care of the ball, and he knows the times to run and the times to get rid of the ball, and that was one of the times where you don't run and you just make sure that you cut your losses.
He sends Coleman in motion on 2nd down. The handoff to Reid, who's been active on the offensive side of the ball tonight. Maybe gets 2 yards on 2nd down.
Number 79, Mirach Kumas there. Good block. Take a look here on the Long family replay. Kumas there on the right side, able to take care of Matt Carlin,
the captain for Seneca. Good job by Kumas setting the edge there. Now Lenape will slow it down.
Interested to see here if Lenape decides to run in between the tackles or take another shot through the air.
Long on 3rd down, a throw to the outside. Coleman makes a couple men miss, and he'll keep going down the sideline to the 15. Xavier Coleman, whose Twitter name is Too Shifty, really showing some shifty moves there on the outside.
I don't know what else to say besides I thought he was going to be down for a 4th and 5. I played with that guy for 3 years, and he still amazes me with a lot of plays he makes on Friday nights. Xavier Coleman just too shifty when he gets the ball in space. Look here, simple step off, make 1 man miss, 2 man, see ya. It's a 1st down for the Indians, and they're in the red zone.
I mean, that's good branding by him, right? To make that his kind of like his thing, you know?
You brought it up last week. Why is his number 1?
That's right, because he's the best, right? No one can beat him except him.
Yep, nobody can beat Xavier Coleman except himself.
As a timeout on the field, we'll send the teams to their respective huddles.
Appears to be a bit of instruction on both huddles going to the offense and defensive line. Obviously, we're getting tight here in on the end zone. Got to pay attention to the trenches a little bit more when it gets a lot less spacious out there. The big boys get the spotlight.
Now, Owen, how important are these teaching moments? Because for either team, you won't make a mistake that'll change the outcome of the game. So how important are these teaching moments to take risks and to make sure you execute?
Well, I think the big thing is, if you look at Seneca's huddle here, they look very engaged. They're listening to what their coach has to say, and they're trying to just do their best with what they have left to do. And if you look at that Lenape huddle right now, they're obviously dialing up a play, working on assignments. Lenape will play in bigger games this year. They have to be used to having that 10, 15 yards to go, and they need to score.
Got Rancocas Valley on the road next week.
Huge rivalry game. RV Lenape. Rematch of the 2017 state final.
There's Long on 1st down. Reid to his left. He fires to the outside. Incomplete. Setting up 2nd down, looking for Coleman.
Coleman too shifty to catch the ball there. Bring up 2nd and 10.
And this would have been the time that Shank could have been kicking those long field goals for Lenape. And hopefully we'll get a word on what the issue is with his leg. As Long trots out. Lenape taking their time, just under 7 minutes. I want to make a correction earlier. 42, Ethan Paluniak, and not Robert Miles. My apologies on that one. As on 2nd down, Long hands it off. Reid tries to get the edge, and he slides down short of the line of scrimmage.
It's like a switching of jerseys that got us there with the Paluniak switcheroo. Let's take a look here on the Long family replay. Reid tries to bounce outside. A multitude of Seneca defenders there to stop him before he slips. So jerseys in high school, not exactly a science. Numbers do change week to week. Pluniak listed as 44. Appears as we've seen Lenape go to white jerseys this week. He is now 42. Great game last week, though. 3 sacks.
Definitely came to play down the stretch in the second half, too.
First varsity start wreaked havoc there last week. Stafford and the Vikings.
Made life tough for that Eastern offensive line as a 3rd and 11 as we cross 6 minutes to go here in the 4th. Long, looking for Coleman, incomplete. Good defense on the outside. And a couple guys in there for Seneca on the play.
They're going to get him for pass interference. Could have went either way. Thought pretty good coverage, but there was obviously contact before the ball got there.
Didn't really get a good angle on that. Let's take another look.
Yeah, just got him in the back right before the ball gets there. It's Rankle.
Joe Rankle there on the penalty. The defensive back, a senior for Seneca.
That's tough.
Not much you can do there, though, because Long had it right there for Coleman. As Long handles the snap and is able to give it to Reid. And Reid spins ahead. He looks like he's short of the line to gain.
And we're going to get a 4th and 1. And this is where the offensive line, again, like before, 4th and 1. You got to go forward. You got to get that space for your running back to get the first down. I would love to see this Lenape offensive line keep the ball between the tackles and go forward. But that Seneca defensive front has done a great job in this second half, again, making Lenape really, really work to get points on the board.
Now 4th and 1, Long gives it to Reid. Reid finds a lane, and he's in for a Lenape touchdown. He's put on a show tonight, and Lenape expands their lead.
Reid has 3 touchdowns. It was Humza Bruce's game to start. They now giving the honors to Reid to keep it going, but offensive line for Lenape rushing. I'd love to see those statistics when it's all said and done tonight, but they've had a really good night. Coming in, you knew it was going to be wet, you knew it was going to be muddy, you knew that it wasn't necessarily going to be the weather you need to throw it in the air, but it's offensive line, the running backs, everybody involved. Luke Cole, fullback. Been a great night on the ground for the Indians.
True team effort. And it shows on the scoreboard, 37-0, 5 minutes left as Salona on the extra point is good.
Imagine a team having 2 guys that can kick it like that effortlessly through the uprights. That's something valuable to have. Kicker goes out for some teams. It's going to mean that they're not going to have any shot at an extra point. Take a look here at the touchdown one more time on the Long family replay. Just keeps the feet running. Strong lower body by Reid. It's obviously a weight room kind of play. We talked about it pre-snap. 4th down, you want to go forward in between the tackles. That Lenape offensive line paved forward. Reid said, I'll do the rest.
Fearless running there by Kobe Reid. He's been more active on the offensive side of the ball last week. After his good defensive performance, Coach Woj still coaching up his team, still up 38. Still some plays to be made here with 5 and change left in the 4th.
And as a coaching staff, this is where you start developing your guys for the next year. Sloan again, another chance to kick one off. Flag on the play right now. Not sure what's going on.
No discussion among the referees.
And it appears they're called the penalty on Seneca. It appears to have been declined.
And Salona will boot it for Lenape. Seneca takes it near the goal line. And breaking through some tacklers for Seneca is George Thorpe, the captain across the 30-yard line. And a nice special teams play for the Golden Eagles.
Heard his name a couple times tonight. Thorpe does a pretty good job getting outside, evading the first couple of tacklers.
First and 10 from the 35. The fans and the cheerleaders still showing great support here late in this one for Seneca, as on first down. Good play at the line of scrimmage by Lenape. Galeta was in there to help out on the stop alongside Tristan Nielsen. Second down.
Again, a really great time for both teams to develop their players and their future personnel for the years to come. And to let those seniors that maybe don't get to see the field regularly get their little time for glory.
Well, you mentioned this last week, Owen, is with only a 7-game season for Lenape, there's a lot less time to make up that senior tape that you might want to send out and show the schools.
No doubt.
As Thorpe gets the carry on second down, strong running by the senior. And he gets a couple yards shy of the line of scrimmage. It's going to be third and short.
Yeah, and just to get guys out there to be able to enjoy playing the game, you work all week to be able to play on Friday nights. So the work doesn't change when you're a freshman or when you're a senior. Responsibilities might, the amount of times you play on Friday night might, but the work during the week doesn't change, and everyone deserves it just as much as the next guy.
And we got to change at quarterback for Seneca. Chris Schomer, the junior.
Davis toughed it out as long as he could, man.
A lot of running for Davis tonight. Schomer will take over here on out as Thorpe on third down is brought down behind the line of scrimmage. Good play up front.
Devin West.
Camarado was there too on the nice pressure on third down.
And Seneca looks to stay on the field here for what could be their last offensive play of the night.
And Owen, if you're Seneca, some positives on the ground tonight. Clank and Thorpe are able to pick up a few chunk plays specifically on the outside, and something they can carry forth into their next game as they head on the road to take on the Eastern Vikings, who we saw last week.
I think that'll be a pretty good game. I like both quarterbacks. Davis, Stafford, both have a lot to offer. Davis, hard runner tonight, shows his versatility.
Schomer on fourth down gets caught up in the option there with George Thorpe, and a nice stop by Lenape, and a turnover on downs. Lenape gets it back.
And if you look here on the long family replay, Devin West, a guy that doesn't start, maybe who doesn't see the field besides special teams, just flying in there, takes Thorpe down and says, let's call it on this one.
Great job there by Devin West, the senior.
And it looks like we're going to see the second offense here for Lenape.
A lot of guys getting some valuable playing time here.
And this means a lot to them. This means a lot to the guys because, you know, you do work hard during the week and you hope you can get this chance.
And then a backup quarterback, Kyler Lightfoot, the junior. Didn't suit up last week. He's in this week and getting his first snaps as quarterback on the young season for Lenape.
He's just going to
He'll take a knee.
Put one down.
Good sportsmanship by Lenape to close this one. So Owen, Lenape starts the season 2-0. Looking ahead, Rancocas Valley on the road next week. See if they can improve to 3-0. But you got to love offense, defense, special teams. Everyone really came to play tonight for Lenape.
It was a much more complete game. Last week leaning a little bit more on the special teams and the defense. Offense didn't exactly have the night they were hoping for, but this week the offense really came ready to play from the get-go. Obviously played two from scrimmage, touchdown for Hamza Bruce. Reid with 3 touchdowns. Luke Cole with the touchdown. Really, really great showing for the offense tonight. And the defense, too, finishing this one with a shutout. I'm sure Coach Woj is going to love to see that.
So that will do it here from Seneca High School. The rain held up. We were able to get this football game in. Great job by Seneca High School with all their COVID-19 guidelines, everyone social distancing, wearing their masks. Everything went smoothly tonight, and our final score, Lenape walks away with the shutout, 38-0 on the Play-by-Play Sports Network. So for myself, Ethan Carpenter, and my partner, Owen Hartman, it was a lot of fun bringing you some more Lenape football. 38-0 our final score, and we say good night from Tabernacle.